Christo and AZ taking 50 plus damage. That's a pretty good start. Of all the rounds to pull out that kind of play, this is where we need to see it. For Singularity, they had their early aggression in towards A, not spotting anybody out. Oof. Yeah, I think I said Singularity's nades were great a minute ago. Let's scratch that. Can we take that off the record? But Christo down to 4 HP. Again, he was so close to dying because he was lit to 44 by the nades earlier on.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward here for North, but they do at least have themselves the advantage and decide to get aggressive again. I guess realizing that with the health they had available, it is a little bit... Sorry, it was the other way around, but realizing that with the disadvantage they needed to do something. Christo being low though, he's in a position where he probably can't do too much about the round. Its teammates instead just kind of leading that charge in towards B and finding success. Unfortunately, not having the M4 around that B side of the map either, leaving it alone on the A side and trusted to solo. And taking a bit of a gamble to stack up over towards B otherwise, which just doesn't work out, unfortunately. So the one M4 going to be carried over. But now they're looking at the eco, and with that meaning, of course, North very likely to go up 4-1 before we actually see a gun round coming out for Singularity. And that just doesn't look good.
I think we had a drop there for a second. Some people might have experienced. It was a Twitch just bailed on us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's back though. Well, good. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, maybe you were good. I don't know. Only got the Twitch open. I was getting worried for a second. I was like panicking, looking around, going, "Oh, what have I done? What have I unplugged?" I know. 3-1. North again coming in with these very early rounds. The dominance we saw over in the second half of Vertigo that they just maintained the momentum they had from the first. And again, with Singularity picking up most of the rounds on Vertigo due to early half success. And although this is a worse map for North overall, you're gonna be worried. Oh, I like the little boost. I like it a lot. They get 1 kill for it. Oh, Yabi was in danger. I actually noticed that Gade is going towards long, not party. And Cellrate was watching party. I mean, he was watching it with a USP though, so I don't think that would have helped a whole bunch. But Yabi goes back down con to find another frag, and there's now a weapon for Cellrate to pick up. This was one hell of a weak round for Singularity. Not one they should have gotten much done in. And yet they're in a spot now where there's 2 AKs to be retrieved in con that it looks like no one's interested in. Cellrate's seen Gade moving up behind B. That info calmed. That's exactly where Tabas is going.
Yeah, Yabi moving back around as well through the spawn. And if he moves quickly, he might actually be able to spot this bomb before MSL is able to retrieve it. Not going to be moving forward as of yet, though. Obviously not knowing the bomb is there, unfortunately, and not wanting to risk going down, because if he does fall at that point, he leaves with just USPs, and unfortunately it's still not working out for them. Gade gets dinked, but he's able to find that frag. But here we go, the flank comes in. The bomb actually going to be dropped again, and now with Gade on low health, the USP is still dangerous, as well as that M4, of course, but it's not needed. Tobas is there to finish it off, gets himself an AK, and Singularity, they've done it. All they had was the one saved M4. Other than that, it was USPs, and they managed to steal the round away from North and leave them in a bit of an awkward spot. They have enough money to buy onto pretty much everyone. Only AZ going to be left with a weaker weapon. But that's just the round that they shouldn't really have been struggling with at all. You would imagine they take that cleanly even. Especially after they found the M4 in the beginning. It looked like they were going to take him down as well. I'm not sure what happened. I think the spam came in. They killed the player who was on the bottom instead.
We just got F's in chat for Cellrate. He played that so patiently. Moving all the way up behind A. Following Gade. Oh, man. Okay, he's gotten his revenge with the nades. Was it 3 nades onto Christo? And he's just out of here. Water control goes to Singularity without even having to shift a player towards that part of the map. Yeah, Cellrate played the previous round so patiently. Gade had walked out on B, didn't see anyone, so he just went, oh, I guess I'll walk back. Oh, there's a player there. Easy kill. It's a sad time. But with now a man advantage to play with, Singularity might not be sad for all too long.
Tobas spotting AZ out in towards the small tunnel there. I call it mini monster, but most people don't. Just sounds nice.
Mini monster. Oh, there we go. Yabi. They know exactly where Yabi is. It's easily dealt with. I'm guessing the player, I didn't see it from his perspective. I don't know if you caught that, Dean, but I'm guessing that they saw him as they came up. Otherwise, the trigger discipline could have been a bit better.
I'm not sure. I didn't see it from his perspective. I was just wondering what exactly happened with him there, because he took the 1 kill, of course, and then was just stuck in a spot where they had all already bypassed them, and he was completely trapped in. I was wondering how he managed to get himself into such an awkward position where he was surrounded, but it looks like it's working out pretty well for them anyways. He got himself that 1 kill. They have the 4-on-2. Cajun is already low. But AZ has given them some hope back as he finds that one opening on towards B and just wrecks Celery. A little bit of revenge for the nades that took out some of his teammates early on in the round. The one that took out Chris now, so the bomb now should be planted as well. And suddenly it's a 2-on-2. North have managed to recover this into a very winnable position now. AZ looking to continue to frag, of course, still being on full health, finding the heads as they come forward. And just making it look so easy. A quad kill from AZ in that round. 4-2, North fight back in after it was looking to be pretty much an all but confirmed round for Singularity.
One of those rounds just snatched out of thin air. And with North rocking in on a pretty decent buy, you can see Singularity aren't in the same boat. They've made these buys work before. Let's not count them out of it. However, you have to just take a look at where they'll be if they lose. North will more than likely have 6 rounds on the board. And that's already a pretty good position to play from. AWP of MSL also out to say hello. And although most of the impact in the previous map was found on the CT side, didn't really get to have the op out on the TL too much. And it's plain and simple, when you come into a game where AZ, Gade, MSL all fragging, you're in a lot of hot water. Chris out, good for 2 kills. Although he doesn't find another, he's traded out, and it was only a Mac 10 dropped. Pretty convincing one for North if they don't lose any more players.
Yeah, unless Mertz hits an incredible shot, then it shouldn't be happening. He was on A health there, I believe, and indeed not going to be connecting anything. AZ comes in, cleans it up, and North go up 5-2. Already up by 1 map as well, starting themselves off very well here on the T side of Overpass, and very likely been able to extend that as well, of course, with just under 2,000 on the, or just around 2,000 on most of the players here for Singularity. So they really aren't going to be able to afford to buy up anything in this round. As you can see, not even upgrading pistols, unfortunately. We might see a bit of a stack. Everyone moving around towards the bathroom, so probably going to be peeking in towards mid. If they had a flash, perhaps it could be a little bit more dangerous than a nade, maybe even to chip away at some players, but they perhaps still can get a couple of kills from this. Most of North are actually going to be moving around towards this area as well, so we're definitely going to see a clash. It just doesn't go the way of Singularity, yeah. Getting cleaned up. Mertz did get 1, but I don't think North are going to be too worried about losing a single player. They've got a decent amount of money built up.
I think that's a loss that they can definitely cope with. Very well handled again by North as they went out. You could see Gade was starting to spray away at a couple of different players, but he trusted in his teammates to take down the close fight. And only losing the 1 is just fine. Their money is stacked pretty damn high. Singularity go all the way down to that last ditch buy. And we're going to see another early peak without having an AWP out as well. I think that's one aspect of Singularity's gameplay that we just have not seen, is any sort of opping presence from them. And the free reign that MSL has had throughout this series is definitely tangible and visible in his performance.
We're seeing a setup that could also be very awkward for the CTs at this point. I'm surprised that they have just the 1 player pushing the connector in the zone. 1 player then being back towards that long corner, just being Mertz, and even then he's now fallen back off. So at this point, it's very difficult for Yabby to really do anything. He's just going to have to hide around connector, hope he's going to be able to get a kill, and then escaping towards either side of the map at that point is going to be a little bit risky, considering they don't really have any control. But yeah, for now anyways, North favoring over towards this A side of the map, taking control for themselves, and Cajun just actually doesn't expect that connector player. Because of the fact that his teammates have already pushed out, he was checking, of course, up close on the steps, but didn't expect that player to be tucked in. But as I said, Yabby, he doesn't really have anywhere he could run. He wasn't sure if B water was clear either. They don't have anyone pushed up around that area. So he decided to try and get aggressive in connector, and quickly is taken down as Gade gets an opening on towards the A bomb site, and now it is all on Mertz to try and delay at least a small bit for his teammates to rotate up.
Oh no, Mertz. He wanted to delay, but I mean, sacrificing himself for the cause probably not the way to go about it. Ramoy's been consistent, probably the standout player for Singularity. Now in a 1v2, the AWP catches an angle, misses the shots, and he can actually get it down to the USP in the end. 3 HP, 8 seconds though, but MSL's got the no-scope pulled out at the last second. If he misses that shot, that round was probably over. Very close for Ramoy, and he's going to be gutted that he can't find it. As North steam ahead on 7-2. Their T side looking unstoppable.
Indeed. I mean, I'm surprised MSL didn't just pull out his pistol there, but it worked in the end. Got himself the no-scope, of course. What was it, like 10 health left at that point?
Yeah, I think it was like 9. Yeah, it was non-existent.
As we've said, obviously, they don't know. You can't just pull up the console and be like, oh, I hit him for this. But I thought they would have figured out.
You have an idea.
Hacked up at least a small bit.
You have an idea. You probably have a better chance with a USP than with a no-scope, but...
That would have been heartbreaking if the no-scope missed. That's what I mean. The close one, but he got it. North, they are leading pretty convincingly 7-2, so... I don't think they're going to be too worried about how close that round got, especially as this round should be quite straightforward up against just pistols. A little bit more than the last time it was the eco. They're able to invest something at least. I
think MSL was just playing Yu-Gi-Oh there, believing in the heart of the cards. Sometimes you got to do it. Come in with full confidence. I don't think... the funny thing about it is if it went wrong, we'd just be sat here going, why the hell would he... Just criticizing him all day long. But look, because it's reminiscent of that game. You remember, Dean? MSL going in, hunting down, ecoing USPs with his AWP, giving it to the enemy. They save it, and then they end up getting kills in the next round. You were just like, why have you done that, mate? He does make some interesting decisions.
Fantastic, though.
Well, yeah, if you're feeling it. If you're feeling it, you're feeling it, mate. That's how it goes, right?
Still, you never need to hunt 5 USPs with an op on your own.
Yeah, no, in that one I don't care how much you're feeling it. That was weird. That was a Mirage game a while back, but I've still not gotten over it. I have nightmares of it every night.
I had forgot about it until you said it there. I'm not gonna lie. Good entries though. They've dealt with all of the threats pretty much so far. Still a couple players who have 5.7s in Kevlar, but I'm not expecting much, even if they are to pick up a kill or two. At that point, it'd really just be them trying to save those weapons over. Ideally, North don't want to give those rifles away. AKs, of course, can be very useful in the hands of the CT players. Yeah, but at this point, I don't think North are really going to be worrying about the economy, because even if they do start losing rounds, they will have, of course, the loss bonus beginning to build up by the time their actual money does run down somewhat. And if they can keep getting these bomb plants as they have been, I mean, some of the times they haven't had to get the bomb plants just because they've been getting the kills so quickly. But overall, they haven't been struggling with getting onto these bomb sites. But yeah, let's see. I mean, nothing really being found for Singularity in terms of weapons to steal away. North don't want to give them anything. They know there's not a lot for them to gain if they were to hunt in that situation.
Well, we're approaching double digits for the T side, Dean, and it looks like Singularity's idea of how to put a roadblock down and stop that destination from being reached, at least in this half, is with Mertz taking out that AWP. So far, he's got 2 kills, but I don't think I'd highlight just him. The rest of the team been struggling as well. A couple flash in the pans from Yabi and Ramoy, but it has been just that. It's the odd occasional performance sprinkled in amongst just flavoursome disappointment. There's the swing from Gade, and Mertz is the one with the opening duel. The man with the plan. Tobiz through the wall takes a victim. And a 2-man advantage now to play with. Singularity looking better than they have so far in any of the rounds we've seen so in the past, with the exception of the 2 they won, obviously, before someone goes, they've won 2 rounds. It'd probably be you, Dean, that says that.
Those rounds weren't very convincing, even.
That's true.
But yeah, this is a pretty good position to be in. Yeah, be finding AZ there, who had no idea that he was going to be still lurking around in towards Connector, and Rema as well is going to have himself a free kill pretty much on MSL. Focused fully on Connector because of the fact that he had just lost a teammate to there and didn't expect that Singularity would really be willing to go aggressive, considering the fact that they were already up by so much in the 4-on-2. But they did, and now they have themselves a 3rd round on the board. Finally, it has been a while. We had seen 5 in a row from North. The question is now, can Singularity keep this up, or is it just going to be North instantly returning it? Because as we said, their economy is not going to be in trouble anytime soon. By the time it does begin to run out, which would be, I guess, kind of going after the next round, after one more full buy. But even then, they'll have a little bit of loss bonus. They'll be getting the bombs down. They already have 8 rounds on the T side, so if they have to take 1 eco, it's not too big of a deal. If they can even add 1 more to this T side at this point, they're still feeling fantastic. And of course, the opportunity for a lot more than that, definitely still there.
Oh! There we go. MSL back on the AWP, showing us what he's got. And a second kill. This is an exact flip around on what we saw in the previous round, where Tobiz and Mertz were the ones finding those opening advantages. So far, Singularity have been good for 5 of the opening duels out of 12. Not a bad conversion, or not a bad win rate, but in terms of those duels, but a pretty bad conversion rate on rounds afterwards. You expect them with those things considered and how slow the trades have generally been for North when Singularity found the openings, if they've even existed. You would imagine they'd be around that 6-round mark, and I think that would be contingent with a pretty good CT side. But unfortunately, at this stage of the game, coming into round number 12, they are far away from anything decent and struggling to pull it back. As Gade falls, Yabi continues to aggress, but Tobiz has fallen. That prompts him to move much faster. Remoy again! A 3K this time from the site, shutting them down. And Christo, I don't think he knows that Yabi's up behind him. He's ran right past him in the toilets, and it looks like he's about to get flushed down one as Yabi on his way up behind. Remoy holding it with an op, and there's really no way out of this one.
Nope, not at all. Walks into the up angle, gets taken straight down, and Remoy just goes huge with the 4K. That's fantastic. He's up there at 13-9. Yabi's 11-7. Unfortunately, everyone else trailing behind by quite a bit. So they really just can't keep relying on these individual plays. They do need everyone to step up now if they want to be able to keep this performance up. And if they get this next round, as I said, North at that point would probably be looking at an eco onto a couple of their players. Unless they're able to get the bomb plant down, maybe then they could scrape one together. But there is a chance here for Singularity to try and actually gain some proper control for themselves and potentially an opening pick. Mertz going aggressive on mid despite struggling a couple rounds back. He was willing to try it again, and this time, despite not connecting the shot, he won't go down. Instead, it's Yabi who continues to aggress up through long, gets himself a double, and even drops the bomb. Oh, and just keeps going forward. He does not care. Struggling a bit to get that kill. Will eventually fall because he used the last few bullets to finish off AZ. But he's given them the man advantage.
Yeah, North are behind. Peeking into the AWP of Mertz, pushing them off the angle. Asian B has found a decent spot. These are the two underperformers from Vertigo, the ones that didn't have a lot to do. There wasn't a whole lot demanded of them. But now, whoa, hold on! Asian B gets out of that one on top. Tobe is absolutely whiffing like you've never seen before. And they've heard cell rate. They know exactly where he is. The bomb is going to be, and it doesn't even need to, because Cajun B is the one to close that round out with a 3K. Insane stuff from him. You say they were, as we said, they were the ones that weren't, I suppose, pulling the same amount of weight as Gade, MSL, and AZ. But, you know, when you're winning 16-7, when you're winning 16 out of 18 rounds towards the end of the game, you don't really need to do much, do you?
Nah, I could have sworn I read Tobiz as Tombiz with a whiff like that, man. Jesus.
Maybe he took over. I tell you, he's definitely no stranger to whiffs. Little Tombiz.
That was just crazy. They should have had no right win in that round. Cajun just somehow manages to come up massive, even though he should have been dead. As Remoy gets tagged up slightly, this round obviously is the full investment from Singularity, but it doesn't give them everything that they would want. They do at least have the op, a couple of rifles, but no kits in play. An MP9 and a 5.7 being a couple weaker weapons that, unfortunately, two of their players are relegated to using. So it's looking like if North are to get this round, then there's a really good opportunity for them to try and close this half 11-4.
Well, as time ticks away with 1 minute left on the clock, we're going to need a fight to go down pretty damn soon. And North try to get control on long. Instead, they lose the bomb. It was an ambitious take, and they had no idea about the setup that was in play for Singularity, with Yabi up close and Mertz providing covering fire from far away on the APC. Whoops. Hey, Christo, check your corners. Well, this is a bit of a whiff of a round from North. Again, we're left down to 2 players to make that clutch happen. Cation B, who stepped up massively in the previous round, and AZ, who's been going ham all game long. They're the players you'd want to make this happen, but when AZ needs an ace clutch with 20 seconds left and no bomb, faith does start to slip away.
Yeah, this round is done. As you see, Mertz ends it with the op shot, and Indeed, it does give Singularity a 5th and potentially a 6th now off the back of it. 6 rounds on the CT side obviously isn't where you want to be, but considering how it's been going so far, if they get back to that point, it was looking like something that was damn near impossible. So I think they could be feeling relatively decent, especially if they could get the pistol going into that second half. But Nord, buying up what they can now into this final round, of course. It is not great. So yeah, that 6th round is fairly possible here, but I really don't want to be counting Nord out considering how they've been playing so far. They have that one rifle on MSL. They have the SMG in terms of the Mach 10 there for Chris now. A couple Tech 9s, which has really had a resurgence, of course. We've seen some fantastic rounds with it, even just in that previous series. But look at that. The nade combined with the spam from Remai destroys Gade and drops the bomb. He follows up as the push comes in through short, but MSL, he fights back in. And with that, achieves a 1-on-2 that is definitely winnable. He knows there's a player around this piss somewhere, but not sure if Remai maybe could have backed off into the CT spawn.
He can go to short and get the bomb if he wants. Hello? Free kill, as free as can be. Remoy's been insanely consistent throughout this game. The best of 3 indeed, but oh, that smoke's way too deep. Way too deep. And that's a free kill.
Did he see him?
MSL knows that he's messed it up. Yeah. He tried to bait it out with the shoulder peek, but it's just not working. And a whiffed smoke is all it cost. The round did not go their way. Singularity on 6 as we go into the next half. But before we do that, we got to go to a quick break. We'll be back in about 3 minutes with half number 2 to see exactly what Singularity can do.
Vision stuck to it, never back down. Never had much, now we own the whole thing. Spread it all around the world, watch it all change. Came alive, now they all see the greatness. Light shine so hard they can't take it.
Dancing with my fear, burning with desire. We gon' take it to the edge and come alive. Go to hell and back just to feel the fire. We gon' turn up in this place and come alive. Walk a different path, nothing can hold me back. I passed the point of no return, something is calling me. It's in the air that I breathe. Bring me back to life again. Dancing with my fear, burning with desire. We gon' take it to the edge and come alive. Go to hell and back just to feel the fire. We gon' turn up in this place and come alive.
I was running road so many nations. Even when it's so sweet, I end up seeing red. Is it such a goal?
Hello everybody and welcome back to Singularity versus North, half number 2, going live on your beautiful screens. As 9-6 is the score that we're currently looking at, and it's coming into the pistol round. North look for more. They're close to double digits. As Singularity, they get in a little bit of a run boost for a fast play towards B. At least a little bit of map control is what they're looking for. Ramoy, the first point of contact for the round. He's been nutty so far. I'm gonna Glock in hand. Not a damn thing's changed.
Not at all. Up close with the Glock. That's what you want. Jumping into the second angle, destroying Gade. And now, as you see Singularity going forward, having themselves a very solid advantage. It doesn't last very long. Chris, though, He's going huge, gets 3 of them before eventually he will be dealt with, but it's given AZ a recoverable position now with the 1-on-2. He has been having, of course, a pretty solid game so far up there as the top fragger. Spots the head of Tobiz in the pit, who apparently didn't know he could be spotted right there. To be fair, it was only a tiny bit. AZ has amazing vision and amazing accuracy, as you've seen. As now it is only Remai that remains on the bomb site. Has been spotted and is pinned in at the moment. Looking to try and recover the bomb, of course, but AZ won't allow it. Recovered by North after a quick 2-0 advantage, or rather a quick 2-man advantage was put in favor of Singularity in the beginning of that round. This still isn't enough.
Dude, that is actually just devastating. Remoy pulling out a 3K. I mean, he is doing so much of the heavy lifting. Yabi, now, look, Yabi's consistency throughout the previous map in this, he was the highest rated player there. Now he's doing well. You cannot take that away from him. But someone like Remoy, it's the clutch situations, the 1vx's that he's turning up in. And this is my first time seeing him on the Singularity lineup, and I'm absolutely loving it. And this is someone to definitely keep an eye on as we move forward. I didn't know what to expect from these guys, past a couple like Mertz, who I'd seen, obviously fairly familiar with. Talking about actually Singularity moving into the B site. They've already done a lot of damage. AZ is low, Christau dead, and this could be their round. As AZ somehow gets a double despite being 1 hit, and the player's in heaven. Oh, they swing with perfect timing to take out Cell Rate. Tobiz, well, he's only got 4 kills so far, and we've seen a whole lot of problems for him in some of these aim duels, but not with a Tech 9 apparently.
No, now he is the 1 versus 1 up against MSL, who has had a great series overall, or rather a great qualifier so far, having definitely performed for them when needed. With this 1 versus 1 currently not knowing where Tobiz is, that's the issue. He's going to be caught off guard, and despite taking a couple more bullets than he would have hoped for Tobiz, he is able to go ahead and finish off MSL. Only a single bullet into the body. It's not going to be a full spray, so not too much BM. The Singularity, they've done it. They've gone ahead and stolen back the force buy for themselves and have given themselves a bit of a lifeline that they do very much need. They're going to need to have a fantastic T-side showing right now. And that's a decent enough start, of course, because now they're going up against the force buy from North, which doesn't really afford them too much. It's just pistols, the Scout, Kevlar into a few of the players, a few nades. But really, it isn't a great force buy, so this is a potential opening now for Singularity to start working their way back into this game. If they get this, they'll be up against an Eco at that point, getting themselves likely up to 9 rounds, get that next gun round, then they can even have the lead.
A little shot from MSL's return. 1 for 1 almost. As he's bailing out with the Scout. For Tobiz, finding that earlier clutch, it's got to be a great little momentum builder. When you're having a rough game, it can be really hard, especially swapping on the T side. I feel like you definitely don't want to be performing poorly and feeling a little bit down, and then having to go into somewhere that you've got to open up these angles for yourself. You got to play very much a confident man's game for the most part. And if you're starting to feel boxed in and crushed, well, it's not easy to do. MSL's backing off. He's baited them in. They've seen the Scout. They know this guy has been hit. They know he's low, and they tried to pursue him. But they do give up at the right time. Once they get to that corner and they realize he's nowhere nearby anymore, they don't want to just barrel on forward. And it's lucky because MSL, Asian B, and Christau are all on that corner just waiting for someone to come on waltzing down long.
It is a 3-man stack, of course, as you pointed out. There was 2 players over towards B, but Remai just going to peek it up through short, finds the opening. Pushing forward still towards the A-bomb site, though, is clearly the goal, and Yabi takes down Cajun, gets the jump shot down on MSL. Christau actually finds 2 with the deagle. So pretty decent find for sure. Unfortunately, it's not going to be anywhere near enough for them to win the round. The time was getting relatively low, so maybe if they could have held on a bit longer, but it didn't work out, and now it's AZ. Left 1-on-3, has the Scout, and as he tries to pull it out into his hands, will be peaked by Mertz. So 8 for Singularity. They are indeed able to topple the force buy there from North and ensure it's not going to cause them too many issues. Losing a couple players, but overall they can be relatively happy with how that went, since they also have a chance now in this round to take a cleaner one. But yeah, as I said, most likely going to be 9 now for Singularity, and if they get that next gun round, suddenly we have a competitive map right back in our hands.
Well, Singularity in the early half have been good on Vertigo. I mean, we don't want to jump to conclusions. North, when they get those full weapons out, more particularly when MSL gets the op in his hand. I'm gonna pretend
He
I was
gets
gonna
the
say
USP.
USP, yeah. And so when MSL gets the USP, you know he's pretty good. Oh, look at that, 2
How did
kills.
you know he was going to do that, Mitch?
I'm just a genius, honestly, Dean. You know, everyone knows MSL's a USP player. No, not an op. But in all seriousness, when MSL gets the op out, which you can see is going to be in the next round, that's when things start to get a little bit scary. And combined with the damage he's just managed to do, and indeed the whole team, you know, chipping in for that one, you're then in a spot where, well, there's quite a decent likelihood that they smack Singularity back down to a low buy. For Cajun B, if he can just find one more exit, I say just, as you can see, not a very easy feat, is it? Not a good fight with a USP and no armor against an AK. But had he have found one more kill, it would have been fantastic. Either way, North come in here with a full buy AWP for MSL, which has been the win condition that thus far has been unchecked. Their T side was lacking the scope for parts. I mean, we saw like the opening duel versus Mertz, a couple kills here and there, but certainly nowhere near the presence that MSL was bringing to Vertigo.
No, he hasn't been on the same level, and that's fair. I mean, he was having a ridiculous performance back on that map. He obviously is the leader as well, so it is going to be a little bit of stress on him, I'd say, especially when they started off on the T side of Overpass. Maybe he can start feeling a bit more comfortable now on the CT side that they've got the guns back in their hands, that he's got the op again in his possession. There's a bit of damage from the nades and such do actually go in favor of the CT side early on, and Christo, it looked like he was about to spot Cell right there. I don't think he quite did. The jump peak does spot another player in towards short. But for now, nothing really too crazy going on. Mertz, I believe, has also kind of given up on his dreams there of peeking up through short and getting the op pick because he was tagged down fairly low, doesn't want to risk getting dropped. They have no control other than around this B side, so it pretty much has to be the B commitment.
Now they're forced into this, but there's at least a lot of players to barrel through. Oh no. No trade possible as the nade was still in the hands of Yabi, who eventually grabs a double trade out and puts Singularity back on the map. They can win this one now. Oh, Mertz is holding up her with an AWP. Cajun B swings wide, and he got that kill before falling. MSL traded it out, and North win the round. That was 3 kills in the blink of an eye. I don't know how he managed to shoot that shot. It must have been literally a tick on the server between the bullet leaving his gun and the op shot hitting him.
Yeah, that was right down to the wire, an extremely close round. So certainly nowhere as convincing as what we were seeing from North back on Vertigo. But the opening gun round goes back to North, which is something that they very much needed after, of course, dropping a few rounds in a row off the back of, unfortunately, not being able to capitalize on winning the pistol. But as I said, with that being a fairly close round there is still quite a bit of room now for Singularity to try and just immediately break their economy and get back into winning ways, not let North really get anything going. Obviously, the economy on that CT side can be crippling if you're not able to stabilize it in the early rounds. As you see, a couple of FAMASs being brought into this round rather for North. And they are looking to get a bit aggressive on mid. Is that the boost coming in above the smoke for MSL? No, it looked like he was being boosted. He's just up on party is pretty standard. Unfortunately, as the smoke fades away, he gets blinded. Cajun tried to pick up the op despite the smoke fading away and just gets shot in the head.
I guess the problem there is Cajun presumed the players were still down towards the steps, not up by Fountain when the shot was taken. And so he thought he had at least a second of time to just pick that up and run for the hills. Unfortunately not. And so we go into a 2-man advantage for Singularity, who barely stepped off the podium, really. They're just chilling, waiting for an opportunity to find a couple more openings, holding for the B pushes, for anything in towards connector, starting to poke and prod out towards toilets and A long. Again, just maintaining the control there. And for North, there's no way for them to gain information without running right into the T's at any angle they would push. Eventually, though, as 45 seconds hits the clock, they do start moving into that A site more precisely, giving up their map control for the execute that's about to come through.
Yeah, Christo, of course, just backing away now, realizing they're committing towards that A bomb site and knowing there's nothing for them to do about actually trying to win this round anymore. Saving the 3 weapons, it'll give them a bit to work with in the next round, but they are unfortunately in a spot where they only got 1900 from this, so 2400 from the next round will give them enough obviously to get the buyout then in the following, but they can't afford to buy anything coming into this following round. Just keep whatever they have here. Ideally don't buy up any more nades and such, and ensure that they're going to be able to get as strong of a buy as possible in that following round. But it is looking like Singularity should be able to go ahead and actually tie up this scoreline. Obviously you can't count out these 3 saved rifles, but they've certainly picked up the pace and swapping over to the T side of Overpass here, at least in the early stages.
Reaching double digits, building up some bank. Look, things are looking better for Singularity. I doubted it or I had a lot of doubt in the beginning, right? Because you're getting those early rounds. You're trading back and forth by. Really, they've not done a lot on the T side thus far, and knowing North presumably prefer to play on the CT, you're looking at a pretty scary situation. Looking at Singularity, it's a very fast push in towards toilets, and they run right into the nades. The Molotovs tearing them apart over on the CT side, though, trading back the early damage with Christow and Gade taken out. Now 5v3.
Thought that, but that was such an awkward spray from Christo. He had a chance for maybe even 3 kills. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get any of them. Ends up falling, and I think at this point, in order to boost their buy up in the following round, they really should be just saving those 2 rifles over. Occasion can try and get a couple exits, maybe even steal away a weapon if possible. That certainly would be helpful, but as you can see, they realize that those rifles are necessary in this next round in order to ensure they'll have all the nades and such that they want. Yeah, 11-11. Singularity have brought this back into a close game that I really wasn't expecting after how that first half went, with it being pretty much all North, at least up until the last few rounds where they did pick up the pace a bit. But I was presuming, I'm not going to lie, that they were going to struggle here on the T side, but no. Despite losing the pistol, they have been doing a very good job so far. Christo's wondering the health of everyone. He's asking for the HP. I would be too. To be fair, he was, of course, boosted up in connector, so he had a very kind of tight angle to spray with, and it was a FAMAS. I think he ended up wall banging all the players quite a few times. It's a bit unlucky. It was a big opportunity for them to try and get an advantage early in the round.
Well, this is the point where North can definitely lose a lot of the control that they've built up. Well, all of it. As Singularity take the lead, but also push North to an eco. That's a huge step in the right direction for them. AWP in the hands of MSL. It's been the major difference maker when it came over towards the map of Vertigo. Certainly on the CT side. As of yet, not having the massive opportunities to use it. You can see now playing on top connector. Occasion B's messing around with a couple angles down the bottom. Thinking about maybe going in for some wall bangs. There's Gage spotting out at least 2 down towards Monster. A flash goes through the smoke as he tries to fade back. Nades landing right on top of him, but he's staying inside the smoke. The flashes he was throwing out were just fakes, so they think he was leaving. The spams are so good, but in the process of them being so focused on barrels, AZ's able to do some good damage. Yabi, sneaky peeky, like getting up there around the smoke, realizes he doesn't have an angle on towards the top of the boxes, and North just took away. They're going to allow the pushes to come through and take them down once they're actually on the site. Christow, somehow able to grab himself one. They didn't know AZ was also there. You just can't expect 3 players in that position. But, oh no, MSL went for the long flank, and just as he got there, they check it for the first time. That's devastating, and what a way for Singularity to hit up on 12 rounds.
It looked like it was a good recovery as well. It got a bit awkward, but those 2 low health players that they lost in the pit ended up working well for AZ to get the trade and bring it back to the 2v2. But yeah, once MSL fell on that long flank, there just wasn't much to be done. 12-11, Singularity have the lead, which is quite surprising to myself, and I'm sure quite a few other people after how this map begun. And likely they are to extend this now as well. They should be able to bring themselves up to 13 quite easily. Just the Deagles being upgraded, 1 player only getting Kevlar on the side of North as well. So there really isn't too much for them to work with in this round, and it's going to be this next gun round that so much is going to be relying on. If North aren't able to pick up their next gun round, at that point they are in a lot of trouble, and a 3rd map would begin to look fairly likely.
Big movement from North down towards B. And when you're on rounds like this, I think you can afford to take those gambles off of early contact. Or just send an MSL forward with a deagle. Everybody else groups up. Hopes the push comes through. And look, they might have at least one victim, although MSL falls. Yeah, you could see Ramoy was just caught in the open. He'd already swung all the way out of Monster over towards the Great. And so at least one rifle picked up. Better than nothing for the next round, I guess. Having that upgraded AK can definitely help out a lot. And the Deagles can now go and try to hunt down some more on the bomb site. You can see there's a line developing in the bank. As Christow pushes out, he's got support as well. But, well, that didn't last too long, did it?
No. Yeah, we just destroyed them. So we're able to spot the final player around the edge of the smoke as well. So, yeah, not struggling at all up against just the Deagles right there. And a single casualty. They have plenty of money as well coming into the final few rounds. Potentially, of course, of this map. As North come back onto the buy, they get the op again for MSL. They aren't really lacking in anything. The nades can maybe be a little bit better, but they have the kits as well. They have the rifles on everyone. This is it for North. They need to pick back up the pace here on the CT side, where they really have been struggling. I'm kind of shocked at how poor their CT side showing has been after how fantastic that T side was. Aggression early in the round. Actually looking to push out through Monster now as well. That flash though was perfectly timed. Landed at the feet of the players. Unfortunately, Rema not able to do anything about getting kills or anything. The players are able to escape. But he stops that aggression that was coming in and kind of does note, of course, that it was going on as well. Oh, damn, that was a long-range spam right there on the Tobiz.
And coming up on a minute left in the round, Singularity yet to make a whole lot of direction. They've got a super passive hold by Ramoy in towards B, just lurking down that part of the map. He's going to make a shift pretty quickly, though, over towards this A site, presumably where they're looking to move on through. For North, still tucked down. The nades are coming over. They know it's going to be an A hit at this point. Still no movement from the B players, though, so there's a lot of pressure to hold down, and all by themselves, they're doing it. Christow, AZ, and Christow sees another. Gation B's the one finishing him off. Hey, sharing is caring, that's what they all say. And it's easy as can be. MSL finishing off the last, a cherry on top of the AWP. And although they've got a second op if they wanted it, evidently no one wants it just yet. They're going to just go in for the rifles around MSLs.
Yeah, a small bit surprising that they weren't willing to pick it up on the Cajun B, but I guess maybe if they're not feeling too comfortable with the secondary op, if Cajun doesn't really want it, then you don't really want to force it on them in such important rounds as well. So yeah, North, they finally fight back with another round, but they can't afford to let it be just that, just one round like it was before, like what happened after they got the first gun round, of course, where they got that first gun round, and then again it was 4 rounds in a row for Singularity. If that happens again, this map is pretty much over. So we do need to see North keep up the pace, and early on, showing a bit of presence around the A, somewhat aggressive, but nothing really too crazy. They've already fallen back themselves straight towards the A bomb site. And for Singularity, most of their focus is around this B side right now. Grouped up outside Monster, getting themselves the short control already as well. And it looks like Tobiz is going to start moving back as well. Actually moving in towards Connector, which makes sense because North really have been loving to control this area. They've been pushing aggressive a lot with Christow and co. So leaving one player who can cut off those rotations once the B play does come in.
The 3-man stack on B is at least a good call to start things off, as Singularity are grouped up outside of there, looking to move through short. And Mertz by himself as a monster push with an op, it ain't too likely to go through. And the supportive fire with that AWP can definitely come into play. Ramoy is opening it up. He's being fantastic, but he only gets the one. And they line up, which almost works as armor. Okay, Mertz! They're jumping no scope. As we talk about the lack of likelihood of him going through by himself, but he just shows us what for. That's North going in for a save, and it's devastating, Dean, when you look at the HP for Singularity. That is such a winnable position if just 1 or 2 more shots land.
Yeah, the nade even landed there on cell rate just as they were beginning to back away. So 3 of the players being low, unfortunately, they just can't afford to take that risk because the two players who are alive right now are the ones who have enough money to rebuy in the next round, so they're going to need to drop over. So if they were to lose those weapons, then they would be they'd be lacking quite a bit in this following round. Gade will be able to buy for himself, so they actually will still have the full buy, obviously. But it's getting out of control. Singularity have been controlling pretty much the entirety of this T-side bar, just a few sole rounds coming in for Nord. And that trend continues as Singularity bounce back.
Been a hell of a comeback for them. I mean, that third map is definitely on the cards now. Going over to Dust 2, things can get a little bit wild. The win conditions moving into this were really, I think the only one missing is MSL up on that AWP. We've seen step-ups from Christoph, from Cajun B versus what we saw in Vertigo. A cheeky little 4-man boost coming through. Take a look at that from Mertz's perspective now. It doesn't look like he's going to get any opportunities offered up.
Yeah, nothing early on. MSL at least has obviously this forward position which can allow them to alleviate the rest of the players around this B bomb site. Oh, okay, the boost has actually worked out for them. Gade has gone ahead and peeked in from heaven right there and gone down to the up, not spotted it. I figured at this point it was probably just going to be abandoned by Singularity, but they committed to it. They're able to actually get a kill off the back of it. Obviously, though, with that, North do know how many players are around that area, and MSL, as I said, pushed up, had a good spot to allow for the rest of his teammates to not have to really focus too much around this area because he got that info now so early. Is he going to repeat, though? This is dangerous. Indeed, drops the Mertz. They're likely just going to commit off the back of this. It's going to be onto AZ to try and hold this down.
Cellright's not able for all too much. Falling down. Ramoy almost missed Cajun B, but he's good to follow on a second. Even though he got blinded up, he already had it lined up for AZ. And Christop's got it all to do in a 1v2, and he's spotted by Tobiz over on short, putting Singularity to 15 in what is most likely going to be Singularity's map. I mean, look, situation didn't play out exactly as expected. Singularity even come in picking Vertigo, where North stomped them. Then North's second choice of sorts is Overpass, where they got off to a pretty good T side. I mean, just look at those rounds. They won both pistols, lost immediately. Immediately afterwards. And yet, despite the foundations that they built for themselves on the T side, their CT, it just hasn't existed.
No, not at all. It's just been a real drop-off in performance since the half-time. Very much surprisingly so. They're no longer hitting their shots. Remoy, of course, has been unstoppable. A weird word to say as he dies, but it has been the case. He's been just so fantastic with the entries here on the T side so far, at least up until this round, where unfortunately he does drop the MSL. Oh, and Cajun should have an easy time as well. They actually just line up walking through the smoke. Cajun's probably like, thank you, because he of course only seen one of the players and quickly reacted to that, gets 2 kills for his efforts, and a 5-on-2. North looking like they should be able to get themselves up to 13 at least. The overtime is definitely still possible.
Yeah, the OT is possible, Dean. I don't want to discount that. But realistically, you got to imagine for Singularity, they've got so many chances to close this out. It's not like they'll be facing an eco soon either, if at all. As much as the 2v5 is unlikely, I mean, they're pretty much going to go for it. With the cash they've got built up, why not?
Yeah, it makes sense. As you said, enough to buy into this next round either way, and if they can get a few kills, it will impact the economy for North in the following round. There's one for Tobiz, but that's going to be it. Kurt's now coming in seconds behind his teammate, so it wasn't actually expected by Cajun. And despite the shot actually being connected there, Cajun just about survives on 1 health. So 13 for North, they keep 4 alive. It's not going to do any damage to their buy. They could easily drop 1 weapon over to AZ. As the pause comes in, this is their first pause. Okay, this is actually surprising. I hadn't even noticed that they were yet to call a tactical pause. Surprisingly.
Oh, we've had practically none today, Dean. Even in the previous series. Teams just didn't like tack pauses. Maybe this is maybe the second or third total. And you look at Vertigo, that's another place that you'd expect a couple more of those to come in when you're getting just steamrolled in consecutive buy rounds. But again, it's been very much that. Just keep your chin up. We'll get there eventually. For North, though, they don't really have that attitude right now. They're in a position where they've got to close out the next 2 rounds. Their economy doesn't allow them to lose too many players even while they do it. If they end up winning a 1v1, it could be a struggle to get a decent buyout. A lot of pressure on them moving into this. You can look at the way these CT rounds have played out. This would be their first consecutive round. First time winning a round without immediately losing it.
Yeah, they have to break the trend. And they're going to be capable of doing so. Maybe once they do, it could indeed be their opportunity to come back into the overtime. Perhaps it's a bit of a curse that's on them at the moment and they just need to break it once. But yeah, I mean, 2 to go for the overtime, it doesn't seem impossible. It's just when you look at how the half has gone for them so far, of course, that you think, okay, we still definitely have to be worried right now. Especially as MSL ends up actually taking quite a lot of damage early on in the round. A very passive setup as well towards the A-bomb site, but they do have 3 players, so it seems like they certainly have a bit of a read about what could be going on right now. With so much time, though, it's not like Singularity do have to commit. They also have control around connectors, so they have that ability to try and rotate back down to be able to sell these fakes and such if they want. Look at this, very aggressive from the CT side. It's Christo who's actually pushed up on his own into the bathrooms and isn't able to do anything as he gets double peaked.
Christo was in a position there that really, without MSL support, he was done for. 1 kill at most is what you get out of that, and that's in a very best case scenario. MSL almost had the timing, but he couldn't get there. And so down towards B is where we look. Oh, MSL fell. Never mind. They can actually just shift their focus. I thought he was going to back off, but he gets caught out trying to continue peeking over towards toilets. And so Cajun B alone with an A1S being swarmed by Teasy. Here's the players up close and wants to swing right. They haven't checked him. Oh no, he gets caught out by Long. They left him completely unchecked. That would have been 2 to 3 kills. He had the bomb planter, the player coming up from site, and possibly Optimus as well. But Tobiz saves the day by sticking down on Long and spotting him. And as Mertz finds the finale, that is going to be just that. The end of things here for map number 2. And we will be going to a third of Dust 2 in just a little bit, Dean. How do we see things panning out now? All things considered, I think Singularity have done enough to alleviate any suspicions that they were just going to lie down and take it in this one. Because the Vertigo was a wild choice. Whatever the reason for picking it, it didn't work out. But they've shown us they've got what it takes to topple North here on Overpass.
Yeah, what worries me is looking at the recent results for Singularity on Dust 2, it really hasn't been a very good map for them. So are they going to be able to go ahead and actually win out the series now, or is it just going to be this one map? Who knows? But if you look at the stats, it is a bit of a worrying sign. But even the same could have maybe been said a bit about Overpass here. So I'm not going to count them out. They showed up. Remi looked fantastic. They all had their moments. And I'm glad we get to see a map 3. I hope it's going to be a competitive one.
Well, one can only hope, Dean. But for now, we're going to throw things over to a break. We'll catch you guys back here in about 15 minutes for the next map. That will be Dust 2 coming up between Singularity and North. We'll see you real soon for that.
Keep seeing you too many times.
Everybody loves an underdog. Who needs to be liked?
Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Victory in a can. cool, right? Want to know where I got it? Well, look, go to cs.money. It's a trade platform and a marketplace at the same time. Just choose, click, and get. Good luck, bro.
Charge up your game with excitement. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG Bet.
Turn into a star, play my part, yeah, I aim too far, I do it big, I keep it large, okay, live it up, this is fake, better give it up, young but I feel like I've seen enough, numbers going up, better keep it up, ain't slowing down, better live it up, about too hard, ayy, what, about too hard, ayy, what, about too hard, ayy, about too hard, ayy. They not gon' like this, don't like surprises, I cause a crisis, man I'm a scientist, with the music I spice things, up to my liking, man I want nice things, this not an AK, it's a Uzi, I pull up and shoot it to movie, I'm chasing the bag, not a coochie, cut ties with the fake, now it's Gucci, word of my niggas from the 021, you count 6 shots and I count 2 guns, some people still think I rap just for fun, but soon they look up to me just like the sun, yeah, you can come over here, swear it's like no career, swear you got no idea, soon you'll have no career, take a good look in the mirror, they need to know that I'm here, don't you act like it ain't clear, yeah, push start, ayy, ball so hard, ayy, raise the bar, ayy, turn into a star, ayy, play my part, yeah, I aim too far, I do it big, I keep it large, okay, live it up, this is fake, better give it up, young but I feel like I've seen enough, numbers going up, better keep it up, ain't slowing down, better live it up, about too hard, ayy, what, about too hard, ayy, what, about too hard, ayy, about too hard.
Don't you know I'm a bad little mama? I got moves like Madonna. Don't tell me cause I move when I'm gonna. I'm not afraid to lose, I am a prima donna. Don't you see I'm a winner, I'm a queen. I cause no scene if you work with me. Don't stop me cause I fight when I wanna. I'm not afraid to lose, I am a prima donna.
Step out as a motivator, let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Ay, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. All we know is ball to empty out the mouths. The chosen one they call, I take my fan with me. Know about it if you tell, know you're breaking codes. What your credibility and all fall like dominoes. Can you really take a stance? All I wanna know. Need me real ones when it's time to go. Stepping in, elevator. Listen to all the haters. That's all we know when we level up. Yeah, that's all we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up. I found out I'm not alone, 'cause I'm just like you. We are fearless. we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready now to level up? It's time, get up.
Sarah, I hurt myself today trying to make the pain go away. Sarah, I want to fade away, be with the stars in outer space. You come and you go. You take me high, you take me low. But I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's my leave for the melancholy. Couldn't fill a hole inside me. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I numb my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah, I lost myself today trying to find ways to make you stay. Sarah, I want to go away, close my eyes, never wake up again. You come and you go. You take me high, you take me low. But I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's my leave for the melancholy. Couldn't fill a hole inside me. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I numb my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah.
Yeah. Black sheep, black sheep, black sheep, black sheep. I don't even write no more, man.
Tell him, yo,
God.
can't you come over?
On my contract commando, pulling up with clips extendo. That's no game Nintendo. I don't ever run out of ammo. I'm gon' need me a benzo. No fake friends, no pretend. No, think I might have found my 10. Posted up in my tent. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it. Lose it. Get substituted. You're not recruited. Cause you're too damn scared to use it. The truth is, you're useless. What? I'm ruthless. I've proved this. Keep capping, I'ma leave you toothless. What? You're so dumb to choose this. Ain't going outside, I make it work. I'm in my bag, that's every purse on my back. Is that your girl? She got it. She make it twerk. And why you mad? I got her first. You say you rap, you got a verse. I say that's whack, you probably hurt. Back to the lab, you gotta search. On my contract Commando, pulling up with clips extendo. That's no game Nintendo. I don't ever run out of ammo. I'm gon' need me a benzo. No fake friends, no pretend. No, think I might have found my tempo. Posted up in my tempo. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, improve it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, improve it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it. Why are these boys so...
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, Gaming Malta, Mountain Dew Game Fuel, CS Money, MSI, GG Bet, and ESEA.
Hello everybody and welcome to Singularity versus North. We are here for the final map, the conclusion of this best of three, which has gone in a little bit of an odd manner. I mean, if you saw that Vertigo and Overpass were there, you'd probably think that both teams won their map pick, but in fact North taking up Vertigo was Singularity's map pick. Things didn't go according to plan, but they have a chance to close it out here on Dust 2. The Singularity just about clawed back Overpass. I'm Mitch, and alongside myself is the beautiful Dean, and we'll take you through this series, this day, and indeed this final map. And looking at how things have played out, well, Dean, I think one of the things that you really have to note is the lack of presence from MSL there on the previous map versus Vertigo. I mentioned himself and AZ as the players to watch when we came into Vertigo, but on Overpass, things definitely changed up, and we saw Singularity step up with Yabi and Remoy winning out a lot of multi-kill rounds. Tobas, despite a slow first half, really turning up then in the end for some really pivotal plays. And I feel like at this point, Singularity have done enough to dissuade any notion that they'll get wrecked on Dust 2. I think we're in for a minimum of a close game, if North haven't slowed down altogether.
Yeah, you would hope so. Both teams have had pretty shaky results on Dust 2 in recent times as well, so I don't think either of them stands out massively. Obviously, you'd be like, yeah, North should win it. They are the favorite team in general. But after what we've seen from Singularity on Overpass, being able to get that recovery, being able to make that comeback happen, I do believe, of course, that there is still a chance here for them on Dust 2 to try and win it out, especially, as you said, if Remoy can come through with that same level of performance. I also expect MSL to fare a bit better here on Dust 2 with the op. He surprisingly didn't look too comfortable on Overpass with it, despite looking great on Vertigo. I thought Vertigo would maybe be the map where he'd feel a little bit out of place with the op, but no, it's the other way around. Dust 2 though, I also presume we're going to see the Cajun B op coming out.
Yeah, you saw a couple times North avoided taking another AWP when it was on Overpass, just lying on the floor, but D2, much more common to see that. Certainly CT side. And early on,
he's always loved that second up.
Oh, 100%. Now, you see early on, we're looking for North coming out onto long. They've got two smokes still to play with. They can be popped out. Oh, wow. Okay, a four-man peek on long. That'll deal with Yabi pretty quickly and dispense any notion of the USPs being the ones that walk away with the advantage in the range duels. The smokes, the flashes on their way, as MSL will stay to watch the back. The rest of the team barrels forward, and Singularity are going to be in trouble if that Molotov makes its way to Gandalf, but it's actually on short for Mertz, giving an opportunity here for Remoy to shine.
Oh, I thought he heard MSL there, but apparently not. MSL's going to be able to creep in behind. A free kill pretty much. Remoy takes a second to react, and at this point I was going to say MSL just needs to try and run down time. He actually gets help from Gade. AZ going to be able to get one as well, and MSL finally able to peek in from short is there to go ahead and close that round out. North get themselves the pistol. Honestly, I'm really surprised that Mertz didn't notice that MSL was coming up short. It's not like he was being quiet initially. He was running straight up short. He had turned around at that point. I presumed he had heard the footsteps, but it must have been the Molotov, of course, that was up close behind them that I guess kind of covered up the sound a little bit. Somewhat unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, you said the early pick coming in from North kind of got rid of the kind of challenged the fact that the USP is better at long range. I mean, it's not really fair there because it was a 4-on-1 peak. So, I don't think you can.
But that's it. That's how you discount the advantage that they've brought into the game, right? But they've got the ranged angle locked down, or so they think. But yeah, like when 4 Glocks come around the corner, what you gonna do? A hard call to answer. Singularity understandably giving up any control of long unless you get there very early and dispense a lot of utility to guarantee yourselves to have that control. You're better off avoiding it in these weaker rounds. And hold off on the more ranged angles towards sight with scouts. That said, the closest scout I think is down in CT and now smoked off. Not going to have a lot of impact on the cross. The spam's predictably not doing a lot, and Yabi going down to 20 health because of those Molotovs. Swung out a little bit wider actually. They know that he's in Gandalf at the moment is the problem because he dropped that smoke. And look, with 20 health left, best case scenario, he was a distraction for his teammates, and the distraction didn't last very long considering he was so low.
Yeah, nice shots by AZ. Kept tapping on the angle, eventually was able to get himself the kill, and at this point, Cellrate with one of those scouts just has to go ahead and try and save us so they have something in this next round. But yeah, good work by Nort, able to take themselves a clean round. As you said, it was unfortunate there that so much damage had been done on towards the player who was trapped towards Gandalf. 2-0 for North, not a single casualty, meaning they're in a really good position, and he even takes that scout and throws it away. Obviously not being sure if they had a second scout in play. I don't think Cellrate really got a chance to do anything, but by the time he was leaving that bomb site, all of his teammates were already dead. No pistols are going to be upgraded either around this scout, so pretty much just the full eco apart from that one rifle in play. Are we going to see perhaps any sort of crazy aggression? They do have a smoke on Tobiz. I think he's just going to smoke off the cross, as you can see, already setting up for that, just to restrict info for North, and with that they likely will stack somewhere. Crossing over to B. Showing a couple of players though. The scout of course taking the peek, and Tobiz actually making his way into the lower tunnel. I don't know if it's being called over that this is a possibility or not. Apparently it hasn't, because AZ doesn't expect it. Tobiz with the AK, not quite able to get the second kill, and with that Cellrate also trying to help out once he realized his teammate was under a lot of pressure, peeking in from the mid doors, he also will be dropped. So a good recovery from North despite losing AZ early on.
Yeah, they do a good enough job, but some of these players are very low, and that makes me concerned. Remoy's got a P250. We've seen him do it in the past. Yeah, it's quite fortunate that they get in quick enough to stop that AK from making it away. Otherwise, things could have spiraled out of control pretty quickly. Speaking of Remoy, he's coming on a long flank through the T-spawn. And North tried to change the strategy up here. They've had 2 consecutive A-long rushes. Or pushes, at least. Oh, I don't like the idea of leaving Cajun B behind. 28 HP. He's watching for the flank, but this is a fight where Remoy comes in with a pretty decent position to play from, and now they've spotted him. They're coming out through mid. No one's looking at him, though. If they check top mid, that's easy peasy. Cajun shouldn't get out of this one alive, though, surely. Even that P250 fight, Remoy misses the shot, and that's going to allow Cajun to bail away and let his teammates clean up in the end. That got very awkward for a second, though. Had they have looked top mid with pistols out, he was dead. Had Remoy have hit that shot on the cross either time, he's dead. And that's just another rifle lost for essentially no reason. You've got the A site completely open, a 3-man push. Why not send all 4 and let them push into you? I understand the way he wanted to protect the rifles, but if you fall, then they all have rifles, and it's a whole lot worse.
Yeah, thankfully they were able to deal with it, and did end up only losing 1 player in the round, so I don't think North are going to be too upset, but it is those little things, especially when you're up against a team when they do have the rifles, that can cost you. But for now, North, of course, with a 3-0 lead, keeping all of those Galils into play as well with 3 of them, leaving plenty of money if they are to lose this round. So it is pretty much a bonus one. Obviously, MSL haven't bought the op, cost him a little bit extra, so he doesn't have too much left over. But overall, it's Singularity in a spot where they are going to need to take 2 gun rounds in a row to really start getting some control here on their CT side early on. And unfortunately, this buy really isn't that fantastic. Sure, Mertz gets the op, but it's glass cannon. They don't have a defuse kit. The nades are very limited already, with still over 1 minute and 20 seconds left. So it's certainly going to be a tough one for them, as North should have this short control pretty much free as well. Just split out for that pretty much standard default. Tobiz, I think, is looking tempted to maybe peek down on mid. That would be very risky with the op posted up right now.
Well, North haven't been strangers to risks, for better or for worse. Looks like they're going to play a little bit more conserved for now, going in for the short control after the flash, the post up by MSL. As he holds in for the control, the rest of his team start to rotate over, and I'm guessing we're going to see the smokes on short and down the elevator to allow them to cross over without worrying about an AWPer being around car, which is close enough to where Mertz is. It'll cut him off from any aggressive peeks. There's the smokes going down, up, and over. And that's going to stop Mertz from really doing a whole bunch bar spamming. Yabi's now essentially on his own unless Mertz quick crosses over. He's staying in position. The fast rush down below by Gade nets them one opening duel. Mertz barely makes it away with his life. Fades out for a kill, but then he fades as Christou swings in long. I love that setup from North. It's really, really nice. When you get those 3 smokes in play, the AWPer basically has to fall back to long, and that lurk was perfectly timed in coming out.
Yeah, as you said, extremely well played. That A-split is just near impossible to handle unless you manage to, of course, control the long area, and at that point, pretty much just set up for the retake. But that is not what happened. Singularity, they get mowed over. They're only able to get the 1 kill, so again, a very convincing round comes in for North, and they are getting off to a flying starter on this too. Much better than what we've seen from them towards the end of course, Overpass. And Cellrate and Tobiz saving... It still doesn't really give them enough for the buy. They could obviously drop over a couple weapons, but even then, they'd still be left with 1 player, probably just on an SMG and Kevlar, maybe a scout or something along those lines. So will they buy? We'll just have to wait and see, obviously, but I wouldn't mind seeing them just go for the pistols and Kevlar on those other players and trying to focus on getting the full buyout in the next round and ensuring that they're not going to be lacking anything, because obviously in that last gun round, as we pointed out, they had no kits, they had limited nades, they didn't have the Kevlar behind the op either, so ensuring that they can get that here into the next gun round is important.
And you hear the AWP of MSL ring out in the background as he spots 2 players crossing the B. And with that, and the knowledge that Singularity again won't have a decent buy, it's all about long control. And North have been big fans of A-Long so far. The first 2 rounds exclusively played out here with a late flank. Oh, hello. So previously it was a late flank by MSL coming down through top mid and short. This time up against a weak buy, Gade decides to solo push short. Not the play, really, in this position, as he's learned the hard way, unfortunately. The smokes... Oh, no, they don't have enough smokes for the cross. They have to go on a flash. And although the kills go their way, they've taken a lot of damage, and they're into a 3v3 with rifles for Tobiz and Cellrate. This could definitely go the way of Singularity. Oh, that flash is so good.
Yeah, it brought them down into the 2v2, but as I say that, Christou peeking in from the bomb site ends up getting dropped by Tobiz, and now it's all on MSL. The bomb, I believe, being planted open for him. Indeed it is, so he can definitely try and play that as he spots both of the players there, I believe, coming in from the spawn. Actually finds Tobiz as he goes forward, ready for the follow-up. Cellrate falls, and it's 4 for MSL. We said, of course, he never really got going back on Overpass, but right now he is 10-0. Doesn't have a single death, doesn't even have an assist, because if he sees you, he's gonna kill you.
Well, that's certainly been his his mantra so far. He's got more kills than the enemy team combined. And 5-0, well, I guess you can expect that. It is still early days, though. Here's Singularity pulling out a double op setup. Mertz and Tobiz, the ones that deploy that. And this could be a big difference maker. For North, the strategies have been a little shaky at times. The push down through tunnels that didn't quite work out. And Gade going alone. Cation B staying versus pistols to try and protect a rifle, even though he was 28 health. With a rifle of his own. And has been a little bit off the charts, a little bit sloppy, but thus far Singularity haven't punished them for it. Now that the rifles come out, the double up setup, that's where the punishments can start to come through. The issue for the CTs is they do not have a lot of utility. In fact, going in for helmets instead of some sets. Mertz and Tobiz also take kits, making it 5 kits, and I would much rather them buy literally anything else when there's 3 already in play. They got the op, a little bit of utility could go a long way, you know, a smoke if you need to fall back, an extra flash maybe, grab a... I mean, even maybe grab a helmet at that point, rather than the kit.
They maybe could have spread it out a little bit better, but they have got themselves at least a good advantage here with the damage going in their favor early on. 40 seconds remaining now as North do need to get a move on towards one of these bomb sites. And as you can see, he's setting themselves up for the A split. I was going to say Remai in towards the pit, but he wasn't. He was actually up aggressive on the wall. An interesting position, unfortunately, as they peek out, not even able to get one to flash around the corner for Christau to continue to peek as he goes ahead and finds the second opening. And with that, the bomb site for them as well. As you can see, Singularity have already been forced back through the spawn. So despite time getting a little bit low for North, they don't really take too much of it actually getting onto that bomb site itself, so there was still a bit to spare. And yeah, the save is being called for. Singularity again aren't able to do anything. They're just quickly taken out of the round as soon as that first kill comes in. The second one in this case, but they were once again very close together. Similar to what we've seen in our first game of the day versus with OG and Forza, of course.
One issue, though,
it was very explosive.
Now, one issue that you're definitely seeing from Singularity is their long hold needs to be improved. This marks the, fourth time that we've seen North go for it out of 6 rounds with the vast majority of their forces. And this marks the 4th time that they've lost it there. And with the double up setup especially, although one thing that you can definitely point out is the lack of utility is going to harm you when you're going in for those long holds. You really can't hold it down as efficiently. The op maybe can't get as comfortable if you don't have an AWP. If you don't have a Molotov there to close off the angle and make sure they're not rushing you early on. It gives the T's a lot more freedom. And so far, giving MSL freedom on Vertigo and on Dust 2 has been a massive problem just like that. He doesn't even feel challenged. Straight out he goes and takes down Mertz. That puts him on 11 for 0.
MSL is having a good time right now, as I would imagine the rest of North are too. 2 quick openings being found into this round. It's not obviously the full buy from Singularity, but you were hoping that they'd be able to get something done here at least. Start bringing themselves back in before they get the guns again. They need to get something going. They're just unfortunately being shut out of every round, not really been able to do any sort of substantial damage even. They are in decent positions right now. Give that to them. The Ogden towards middle, spamming away, actually ends up getting a kill. And of course the M4 on towards the bomb site. In the hands of Yabi, I was going to say, could definitely have some impact, but it is not allowed. Christau again helps them opening up the A bomb site, as they should get that bomb down pretty soon. Being cautious because they knew there was a player up close to the smoke, and they knew the Og was spamming from around mid. Asian does get Tobiz, but a weird swing coming in from MSL as he ends up getting his first death. I guess feeling a bit overconfident. Understandably so at 11-0 when you look at his score. Oh, Gate on the flank as well. There's just no hope for Cellrate.
Well, 7-0 we roll. North doing one better than the Brazil, and at the moment they are looking so damn clean. The kill differential as well is pretty obvious. I mean, we're talking about the previous map, you know, oh, Ramoy, Yabi, they did pretty damn good. Mertz has had some good duels versus MSL in the past. And here we are, where the highest fragger for Singularity is less kills than the lowest fragger for North. And on Dust 2, that is a death sentence. Cannot allow it. Now, again, the correction of how these first 7 rounds have gone. The economy of the moment allows teams to come back into games. It is not a done and dusted, clear-cut 7-0 equals win as maybe it used to be. With the position that Singularity are in as well, they haven't seen a good full buy with lots of utility. Now they have. And oh no, with Mertz missing that shot, it's really just a kick in the gut. They're at a man disadvantage. They get nothing forward, and Mertz, having to cover short, can't even maintain the long control that they fought and lost a man for.
Very unfortunate, and with that feeling pressure to try and get control elsewhere, they do push into mid. Cellrate ends up getting caught by the op of MSL, and with that now a 5-on-3, Tob is pushing in through tunnels. Gets this kill on occasion, you could definitely get some control back. At that point, he's going to realize, obviously, that they are committing to A, and will have to try and work in pretty quickly for the flank. As I said, actually going to fall back through the tunnels, so we are going to see North not really feeling any pressure as they push onto A. 2 players around the CT spawn, but they can't really do too much about this bomb as it's being planted, and with that now a 2-on-4 now. Okay, AZ just jumped straight up after planting to get the kill. And again, the goal I would imagine is to just save these weapons for Singularity, but it is slipping away from them. North already hitting the halfway point to that finish line without having dropped a single round.
Yeah, they definitely looked pressured over on Singularity into making a play. Again, you have to look at it contextually and say, well, yeah, look, by no... Oh, no.
That spam, damn.
This is just ruins the point I was trying to make. Look, Mertz is close to being dead here. Nade, where does this go? It all depends where AZ deploys it, if Mertz survives or not, and that's only for a few seconds more. As AZ goes in, just one bullet needed. Tobiz takes down one. He's good for a second. They're tucked away. Do they get away with it? Yes, they do. Okay. Just about carrying forward both those weapons. Now, the thing for Singularity is they haven't looked as bad as they did on Vertigo. And I say that where they had a 5-0 lead on Vertigo and then ended up getting smacked out, losing 16 out of 18 of the remaining rounds. When you look at how they've played so far on Dust, didn't even pull up the scoreboard. They lose their... I don't know if my mouse... Oh, there, my mouse is visible. They lose their pistol round. Okay, 3-0 after losing the pistol and the force up. That makes sense. Then they come in, losing a buy round 2, and then... But both of these have been pretty mixed, right? They eventually pull out that double op setup. But by that point, so many rounds have gone by where they've been deleted. They're trying to think, okay, what can we do differently? Well, instead of going into their default setups with their utility, with their weapons, and trying to play it that way, they want to make a play. And it's not necessarily the wrong decision. Trying to catch North off guard. It can work sometimes. But then it doesn't. Then they lose the opening pick on long. They have nobody covering short. Mertz misses the shot, continuing to aggress on long, so it's not even a 1-for-1 trade. Has to fall back to site to cover both angles. The CT players are falling as well, and it was just GG'd. This one goes much better for them, though, with Tobiz in on a double. They know there's a player close right, but they don't know there's two, so they're still going, trying desperately to get something done, and they're losing absolutely everybody. Singularity couldn't make it happen on any of their buys. Their double ops didn't work, but here they are. 3 versus 1, surely in an unlosable situation, I say with confidence. There we go. Thank you, Mertz.
Yeah. Mertz is able to stop it, as you said. It got a little bit dangerous, to be fair. He did get tagged up and then went in for the re-peek, which could have been awkward, but he also had a teammate, I believe, flanking in from the mid-doors, so there wasn't really much to be done in the 1-on-3. But yeah, Singularity finally getting around on the board now. Are they able to keep that up and add more to it, or is it just going to be a one-off before North are able to get revenge here? That's the question, because of course, for Singularity to get any control, it's going to have to be a few rounds in a row at least, because North obviously have built up a pretty solid economy for themselves to keep reinvesting.
Yeah, and here's the problem. North are just going back to what has worked for them 5 times now, the A long push. They go out on B. Look, you got to change your strategy sometimes. They decide to rush B when Singularity 3-man stack it. The faith is not restored in Singularity after winning that round. They made a gamble. It worked out. Tobiz had a great performance. Here's an opening duel by Mertz, though, and he almost gets a second. The opportunity is certainly offered up. AZ on 50 HP. Now, this is a repeatable round that's going their way at the start. Their default setup, something that they haven't tried, as I said, with double ops, with utility. And now that they do, things are going their way. 5 versus 3 as North... Again, money's not a problem, but this is their setup that has worked for them again and again. And it looks like Singularity might have cracked it.
Yeah, seems like perhaps they have. The commitment's still going to be coming in towards A, where Rima and Mertz are ready. The bomb actually being quite ahead of the rest of his teammates, so as it gets dropped, it goes up onto the bomb site. Gade and Cajun just about struggling now to cross over eventually. As I say that, though, of course, in towards the car, Cajun was going to trap the push from Remai. Despite being blinded there towards the end, is able to get himself one, but it's traded back. That actually gives Gade the bomb plant. And decent find. They're not too worried about the economy, but I was going to say it gives them the chance to start trying to actually play the after plant. Unfortunately, Tobiz quickly puts a stop to it. So a second for Singularity, keeping 3 alive, and a better showing. Good work by Mertz, of course, to find the opening. Good work by Rima as well, then, to help them start pulling it back with that kind of opening for them to initiate pushing in for the retake.
Well, this is very much what we needed to see. You know, when I see a team win with a weaker buy stacking a bomb site, it's almost like you need to fast forward it. You know, they made a bad gamble, bad call by North. That's all you can chalk it up to. But now that they've successfully beaten them back on the consistent, as I said, 5 times out of 5, that A-long strategy worked. This time they get punished for it. This is where we can start to look at Singularity and say, okay, it's 8-2. They're down by a lot, but they really haven't had the opportunities that they're going to have moving forward, that they have right now. The spray through the door, exchanging wall bangs, and it's AZ that comes out of that behind by quite a bit. Multiple headshots connected to put him on 19 health. Singularity, obviously not knowing how much damage they've done, are still tucked away nice and neatly. The double setup in middle leaves Tobis in a position, especially as he's low, that I'd rather not see him in, because that can happen. It's a kill for the T side, and what do you get for it? Absolutely nothing! Yabby, take your gun out, man! Ho-ho! He is looking to get away with that.
Yeah, thankfully the molly was down, so instantly you seen the player was around the mid doors backing away as well, and actually taking quite a bit of damage. So both AZ and Gade right now being tagged up. Cajun is gone as he gets caught by Mertz crossing over the doors. Player up aggressive on short, actually a couple players aggressing on short as well, ready to try and finish off those tagged up players. MSL will be able to pull one back, but unfortunately taken low himself. But as I say that, Gade spots the head of Mertz, dispatches of the op, and with that now has given them control around the A-bomb site, and I don't think this is going to be expected. Christo still lurking up close on long, and Yabby just has no idea. He hasn't been having a great game so far. Really no one on Singularity has, to be fair. So I don't think it's fair to actually just single out one player. But yeah, that was a tough one for him to read. Didn't expect Christo to still be lurking all the way down there, and with that kill coming in, obviously Salray, he doesn't want to stick around. Has the op, has 2400. That would allow him to drop a weapon over to remine this next round, and you'll be able to see everyone else buying up for themselves. So they'll come back in with another full buy. But 9 for North already.
That's absolutely huge for North as well, because this round is defined by inches. MSL and Gade, 2 and 7 HP respectively. If they take just one more bullet, if a nade lands 1 millimeter closer to them, you end up with them dying, losing those fights, and probably a 3v1 against North. But Singularity failed to hit those couple extra shots to deal that little bit of normally superficial damage extra. And so North do get away with highway robbery. Now up 9-2, and no matter how things end, it feels impossible for Singularity to build up the momentum to take those 4 consecutive rounds. This is also their last chance. We give them the grace period early on, even 7-0 down, of saying that they can come back into it, and you don't want to call it too early. But at 9-2, if Singularity lose, they're left in a position where their money is so low that 11 will be hard to keep out of the hands of North. And if that happens, there is no easy way to put it, but Singularity would likely lose this map. And indeed, best of 3 going out of the running for ESL Pro League. Cellraid has a fantastic opening though, getting aggressive in towards the tunnels and immediately relocating, leaving Tobiz to solo hold B, which I think is a good decision because they've gone B once so far. So you can definitely, after finding that opening duel, bail out and start supporting the A players. And as you can see, the position Cellraid took has allowed 3 players to be on the A bomb site as North set their sights on it.
Yeah, unfortunately, moving back to B, just as the push looked like it was going to start to come in, so he's not going to have a quick rotation over to help them out. But as you said, it's allowed for 3 players at least to stick around this area of the map now as the push does come in. Molotov's covering the bomb site, making it a bit more difficult for Yabby to peek up if he wants to. And as you can see, of course, that's not really being allowed. Ends up actually getting caught by the op there on short, and AZ quickly drops Mertz as he spots the head on long. And with that, I don't know, Singularity again, are they just forced into the save? I feel like it is really the only option, because if they save again, they can drop the weapons. If they don't, if they end up losing all 3 in the next round, they're looking at an eco on the most of their players, which they can't afford to go for. So it makes sense that they really aren't moving to try and attempt this retake at all. But it's double digits already. North going up 10-2 here on the final map of this best of 3. And as you said, in the elimination match, this is the lower bracket already. We've seen North losing to Godsend yesterday 2-0, and Singularity losing 2-0 to Heroic, I believe it was.
Something we brought up on Vertigo is that even if you have counter strats for your opponents, like we guessed Singularity had, picking North's favorite map against them, it doesn't matter if your opponents are hitting their shots. And in this case, even if you're winning opening duels, putting yourself in an advantageous position, as we've seen in the last 2 rounds, it doesn't matter if you're going to constantly be picked off. And for North, pushing into that A site on the late mid to A peaks has been just clean. Gade with his 2K. This time it's just a flurry of frags to put it into a 3 versus 4 and force Singularity to save due to the economic position they were in after losing the last round. With the tag as well to Tobiz. Look, honestly, I wouldn't be that worried about Tobiz because they don't go B. North have literally gone B once, still coming into round number 13. And so I guess the only difference is you're going to be much more hesitant to leave Tobiz alone on B at this point. Cellrate probably turns into the anchor as Tobiz plays more around mid and the A rotation. And indeed, they're going to completely leave B. This is the problem. North are becoming very predictable in what they're doing. And look at where Remoy's managed to make it right up behind them, ensuring that anybody in long is trapped there.
Yeah, this is actually really dangerous. Gade is in a position where he could probably get the counter flank, but I don't think he's going to realize, of course, anytime soon that there's a player up behind them right now on the long doors. North have no idea themselves, as they will move forward into this A stack. This is going to be so difficult for them to overcome. They're taking their time, though, creeping forward. Obviously, it's not like they're going to be able to sell any sort of a fake or anything, though. So all the CTs still waiting in position. Cellrate has a bit of a gap in the smoke. Unfortunately, AZ was actually able to find his teammate in the background before he was able to get that kill. And North are doing it. They've run over the bomb site. It's Remai suddenly all alone. We said he had the flank, but it's going to be a bit useless now that everyone else on his team is gone. There's one kill at least, but now at his position now in the 1-on-3 really shouldn't be achievable. Flashback out towards top mid. Is he looking to run away again? It would make sense. You don't really have too much a chance in this retake, and the weapon certainly could help in the following round.
I mean, Dean, everything went right there. Singularity 5-man stacked A. They had 1 behind, 4 on site. And North come out with 3 players alive. Ow. They were 4-man pushing up through long. They had Gade coming short, but Singularity were more than willing to accept that the player was on short. In fact, even the Molotov that went down would have had me thinking, if I'm Gade, that maybe you should abandon that strat. At least he falls in the end. Because you'll see, as Gade was coming down through the tunnels, he was right around that first box. Well, he was right around the start of the arrow, but when he was at the box, he saw the Molotov land at the bottom of steps on short. At that point, you know they know you're there, or that you can come from short. He was playing for someone having come up mid and rotated through short, but they clearly hadn't done that with the Molotov in position, so his flank was essentially useless. And at that point, it's hard for him to really have any impact on the round. So his players are 4-man rushing A long, or pushing slowly into a stack. And yet they win. And it comes back to the point we made in the previous round, Dean. It doesn't matter if you've got the good strats, you're making the reads, you're stacking the right bomb sites, if the other team are just hitting you in the head and you're not hitting them back.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not the headshot, you just got to at least try and hit them back. That one just didn't go well for Singularity. As I said, a little bit awkward that there was a bit of a gap in that smoke, which wasn't realized initially, so AZ was able to catch one player, and then, of course, at that point, distracting for that player coming up on the flank through short as well, allowing Gade to have quite a bit of room to pretty much confirm the round for them, so it just hasn't been going well for Singularity here on map 3. Let's put it that way. Oh, the nade. Not doing quite as much damage as it looked like it was going to, but it certainly helps out with these deagles in play, and the M4, of course, as well on towards the ramp. But no, it is not being allowed. AZ looking crisp, has gotten himself 2 already, has spotted a player in the pit as well, and Yabi is about to fall as MSL jumps up and spots him pretty much helpless there in the CT spawn. 4-on-2 at 12th round, all but confirmed for North, as they have had a fantastic T-side shown, and it's kind of surprising. I mean, we've seen obviously North really struggle in the second half of that previous map, but they didn't have anywhere near as strong of a first half.
This has definitely been a difficult one to manage for Singularity. You know, when they're 7-0 up, I always want to give, or 7-0 down, excuse me. I always want to give them that benefit of the doubt. As I was saying, I'm trying to make excuses that the pistol didn't go their way. The first buy, the second buy, it's not the end of the world. And indeed, remember that first buy is never going to be as strong as what they've had since then. The couple double op setups with full util that they eventually deployed. But it just hasn't made a difference. Plain and simple, North are the better team on Dust 2. And from what we'd seen on Overpass, it looked very unlikely you would see quite the one-sided affair that we're catching right now. But it is probably 2 rounds that stand between Singularity in a position where they can actually actively fight back. You see, even though it's 12-2, North don't come into the final round with 16k on every player. It hasn't been clean cut a fair amount of the time. Singularity have been quite, I haven't got the stats here, but quite good on opening duels. I know just from the feeling, Mertz was winning some opening duels on long versus MSL. The boost is, I don't know how he still hits that shot. At least the trade is there. And another Mertz versus MSL success. But even with this, a man advantage in play, Singularity have struggled so much in the past that it doesn't feel like this is a concrete advantage.
Yeah, as you say that though, obviously the bomb going around short is going to be dropped. Krista had already made his way out long, and he's going to be dropped by Mertz as well. So, yeah, all on occasion, 10 health, not really much to be expected of him in this situation. So it is indeed going to be Singularity managing to recover that third round. And as you said, it's 2 rounds. That one right there, they're able to get the third in the half. And now if they can get the pistol going into the second one, then you can hope, of course, there is a chance at that point for them to start maybe trying to claw their way back into the game. But we're going to have to wait and see, guys. We are going to send it over to a quick break for the halftime. Stick around. We'll be back in just around 3 minutes.
Terrible land. We are here to your omission. We are many of one. We're coming home with a mission to tear you down from your undeserved throne. We can take your conviction. We are many of one. You may call it a virus, but we call it the antidote. It's an answer to silence. The future is here to revolt.
Welcome back, folks. We're ready to go with half number 2 as Singularity got a lot to do. They've been struggling, I think it's fair to say, as North look to win the day. The best of 3 with 1 map left, and it'll all be defined by what's on your screens. A fast push out to B. 3 players in position to hold it down, and North losing the opening duel, but AZ in with a triple before he's eventually dealt with. He might just have done enough to keep North alive, and Gade does... What? The rest of the work? Question mark? No, MSL gets a shot as well. Sharon's Karen. Let's get everybody involved. But that's 13 rounds for North. And I think I just heard another nail go into Singularity's coffin.
Yeah, not quite the last one, but definitely getting there. If they aren't able to fight in that first gun round, then there's just zero hope. And even with that, I mean, they're about to be down 14-3, so... Yeah, I mean, maybe it is that final nail just kind of enter in the coffin. North now just looking to try and drive it all the way in and put an end to this series, which I think probably got a little bit more shaky than they would have hoped for, obviously, when they dropped overpass. And perhaps they were a little bit upset about it. They were like, guys, come on, how did we lose our map choice? Let's get this done on Dust 2. And they have looked much, much better. The Glocks, though, charging up short. Perhaps they have a chance to overwhelm and actually get the bomb planted right now. Not a bad kill on the occasion, and indeed, that is going to confirm the bomb plant.
They'll be happy to plant it at least. That's guaranteed extra cash for next round. Now they just want to do as much damage as they possibly can, and as you can see, well, it is none. But if you expected them to win that round, I think you're a betting man. Because that ain't the kind of one that teams win. I think 1 kill, had they have taken Gade down especially, and a bomb plant, that would have been a big W for them. Still, positive situation as they walk out of there on 14-3 with the ability to full buy up, and well, no better time for it. No better time than the present when you're this far behind. Singularity can't really afford to lose a single extra round.
No. Has to be flawless. They're looking for a 16-14 right now, ideally, if they want to get this win in regulation. Even overtime looks nearly unachievable for them, but who knows? We see crazy comebacks happening every now and again, and you never really expect it to happen. But right now, Singularity obviously having kind of the advantage in terms of the weapons, which I think they are going to be aware of. They've decided to make this pretty quick. They showed that initial presence around long. With that, we're able to keep some players in position and have managed to cover quite a lot of ground on short. They haven't got the bomb site yet, and the issue is the rotations have already come in. A bit of damage at least being connected there by the op on the cross. But North are all in position before this bomb even goes down, so Singularity aren't going to be given a lot of time to actually position themselves to get into that after plant and to feel comfortable. As you can see, Cellrate's actually still stuck on this bomb site around the smoke, alongside a couple other players as well. You will at least get that trade on MSL, but that is it for Singularity so far. It's a 4-on-2. The HP does give you some hope, but as you can see, Mertz all the way off on long, not really in a position to help out Yabi, and Yabi also fallen means it is indeed done. 15-3, North go ahead and get map and serious point, and at least with the bomb plant, I mean, Singularity can buy, but that's the only positive you can find right now.
Well, things just not playing out for Singularity, really, are they, on Dust 2? This has been one of the most surprising third maps to me, considering what they showed us on Overpass. And again, it comes down to Vito's team. They don't pick Vertigo. They may well have won this 2-0. And most likely North would have picked Vertigo, but you know, it's just this thing of their map pick didn't make any sense. It's exactly what we warned of in the start. Let's come back to bite them. Having to fight it out on Dust 2 with a well-warmed up North, as they're about to be north of 15 rounds if they take this one. AKs all around for Singularity. Not a whole lot of utility coming into a minute, 30 seconds left. They've got two smokes, excuse me, a couple flashes, a few mollies, and a nade straight on the head of Mertz and Yabi to light them up quite a bit. The molly! MSL didn't have the angle. Otherwise, that could have worked out for an opening duel. But they do concede long control over on the T side, right? They're pushed out of doors. And so in goes Christou. He's not sticking around, though. Showing himself for a second. He's going to re-molly it and just sit back. And that was actually, excuse me, I just want to point out, Tobiz used up his Molotov. That was why we saw Christou back off and up, tuck in the corner.
Yeah, I guess also you probably don't want to be remaining too aggressive in this position either. You probably know Singularity don't have too many nades and such, so if you work back a little bit more, you can make them work for the kind of control as they come out the doors and such, having to use flashes, and you can just kind of run down time. But for now, not really wanting to go around long anyways for Singularity. Back towards short. Is this all they've hit so far, I think, in kind of the few T rounds we've seen from them? They have found elements of success, at least with the entries, and been able to get onto that bomb site most of the time, but as I say that, obviously, it seems like it's not going to be as successful here in this round, as they've gone ahead and lost Cellray already. They do get the bomb planted, but now they're in the 4-on-5 after plant with all of their players, bar one, tagged up a pretty substantial amount.
Oh, shot missed by MSL. Nice little tap by Yabi, and this could be Singularity on the board with their first T round. AZ is gone, leaving Cajun B to clutch it all by himself, and it's up against Ramoy on Shorty as the first do it. And Ramoy ain't letting it go all that easy. 4 rounds for Singularity. They've done it, Dean, at long last. They're on the board here on the T side, and you were very right, Dean, when you said, you mentioned, is this all they've done? That's 3 rounds in a row that they've gone for short. The first one was with sending a player through tunnels and going quite quickly. Second was a very fast rush onto A. And the third, as we just saw, they had a very slow round. Before that, in the pistol round, they rushed B, obviously, as we saw. That didn't go according to plan, and since then, they've been sticking to North's strategy of just hit A.
Yeah, I mean, it worked in that round at least. This time they are going to, again, bring it towards that side of the map, but A bit of a switch up as they bring it out towards that long control, and North aren't really able to stick around and hold it because they do have 2 players pushed up on short instead, so they weren't really looking for this area of the map. And obviously with the op boosted up, MSL watching lower knows that no one had peeked out from there. They're able to put a player up through mid as AZ gets aggressive and catches the timing as well, just as Remi actually makes his way into the long doors. Yabi, though, actually expecting it, or at least being cautious. I don't know if he was particularly expecting AZ to be there, but he gets himself the kill either way and gives a pretty solid advantage over the Singularity. But North should know most of these players for the T-side are around this long area still.
You'd imagine so, but how much or how many resources do they want to commit to it? They're fully bought up. There's the opening kill, so now they can actually commit to the round. MSL goes out for a second. He's being covered out here. A third somehow up behind the smoke, still alive, and he fades away. 40 HP, but with an op, that is workable. Mertz got a little bit of work to do, and he's using up a lot of utility just to get on the site to get that bomb down. As the players regroup up, and Gade looks to take MSL's place on short. With a late push out through long. Oh, the op is trained in on the angle, but he misses the shot. And with Remoy taking him down, it looks like it could all be over for Gade. He was out in the open, on short, coming from just behind the smoke, and Mertz was locked and loaded, looking right at him. Singularity pull it off just about. I mean, they gave MSL a whole lot to work with on those 3 kills. I don't know how he made it out of short alive.
Yeah, me neither. Having a little bit of a gap under the smoke and just been able to rattle off the shots. Trading out his teammates when needed as well, but unfortunately not able to connect that final shot as he was coming in on long. Good damage being connected there by Mertz. Unfortunately, MSL was ready for the instant peek on the scout afterwards, so he gets the revenge. As the headshot comes in looking for more, not quite able to connect there in towards the tunnel, so it looked like he had a big opportunity. Unfortunately, didn't on the first attempt, but he sticks around. MSL is just so confident. And it is what you want to see from him. He's 27-8 right now. It's just insane.
Yeah, we had people calling MSL bad in chat earlier. Well, open your eyes. Look at this man. He's absolutely insane. The Deagle up close, looking to get some damage done. Not able for a bunch, but Cajun B takes one before he falls. MSL, come on. They're each one hit. He is tagging them up like crazy. It's smoked. Oh my god, that was so close, and he gets him through the wall and the smoke right in the head. Remoy is gone. The bomb not planted. Tobe is close to facing death as well at the hands of MSL, who's just been an animal all day long, looking for his 29th kill. And Christau, he was baiting out in tunnels, trying to give MSL an angle to find it. Tobis is so low, and with both players in opposite positions, he just cannot get a bomb plant. He's got to try to force the fight. MSL does that as well, though. Fades through the doors, realizes that Tobis has gone out and is on his way towards mid, and it's an easy final kill for MSL with 16-5 on the board. What an absolutely insane game by North. The turnaround when they came onto Dust 2, just insane. And you look at their T side, Dean. They went B once. They rushed B versus a week by where Tobis found the double kill. And other than that, they just went A. They didn't even try mid to B, any of that. It was just short or long with 4 players. And they had an overwhelming amount of success with it.
Yeah, they were hitting their shots. MSL was feeling it, both in the fragging department and the calling department. I mean, maybe even not, because they were walking into stacks and just hitting all the headshots anyway. I don't even know if they cared about walking into stacks at that point. But that was just so convincing from North. Able to pick up, of course, a very convincing win on Vertigo as well to kick the series off. Struggling then on their own map choice, surprisingly, but really redeeming themselves here on the 3rd map. And of course, with that, eliminating Singularity.
And there you go, Singularity knocked down and out of the running for ESL Pro League in the next season. That is how we finish things off here, and with 3K on a scout, or 4K was it on a scout? You really can't say much against MSL's performance on Dust 2. That said, he did have a much weaker overpass, which was another cause for concern, I guess, coming on to Dust 2, but evidently they weren't fully asleep. They were ready to roll and rumble, even through the smoke and wall headshots. You love to see it. With that, though, we'll conclude the action for tonight. It's been a long one for myself and Dean. Hopefully you guys at home have enjoyed it. If you have, !casters in chat will give you a link to our Twitters. We'd appreciate the follows, and of course drop a follow on the channel here for plenty more ESL Pro League action coming up over the next couple of days. Without further ado, though, guys, we're going to throw it to one final break. Thank you for watching and have an absolutely fantastic night.
Everybody loves an underdog. Who needs to be liked?
Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
Cool, right? Want to know where I got it? Well, look, go to cs.money. It's a trade platform and a marketplace at the same time. Just choose, click, and get. Good luck, bro.
Charge up your game with excitement. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG Bet.
Sarah, I lost myself today trying to find ways to make you stay. Sarah, I want to go away, close my eyes, never wake up again. You come and you go, you take me high, you take me low, but I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's my leave for the melancholy. Cody, fill a hole inside me. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I know my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah.
Yeah. Black sheep, black sheep, black sheep, black sheep. I don't even write no more, man.
Tell him, yo,
God.
can't you come over?
On my contract commando. Yeah. Pulling up with clips extendo. That's no game Nintendo. I don't ever run out of ammo. I'm gon' need me a benzo. No fake friends, no pretend. No. Think I might have found my tempo. Posted up in my tempo. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it. Lose it. Get substituted. You're not recruited. Cause you're too damn scared to use it. The truth is, you're useless. What? I'm ruthless. Yeah. I've proved this. Keep capping, I'ma leave you toothless. What? You're so dumb to choose this. Yeah. Ain't going outside, I make it work. I'm in my bag. That's every purse on my back. Is that your girl? She got it. She make it twerk. And why you mad? I got her first. You say you rap, you got a verse. I say that's whack, you probably hurt. Back to the lab, you gotta search. On my contract commando. Yeah. Pulling up with clips extendo. That's no game Nintendo. I don't ever run out of ammo. I'm gon' need me a benzo. No fake friends, no pretend. No. Think I might have found my tempo. Posted up in my tempo. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it.
Why are these boys so stupid? Counting me out now, I'm counting my money. I'm probably gon' cop me a new wrist. Y'all gon' think I'm a nuisance. New sound, know me, who this? Yep, I made some improvements. Me and the gang been bowling. Your shawty gon' think we're the coolest. LSA say we got clips. We bout to make it a movie. I make a hit I can't miss. Damn, the charts might sue me. The way I be stacking my chips, stack it up. Probably the bank gon' sue me. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid, cause your mans can't fool me.
On my contract commando. Pulling up with clips extendo. That's no game Nintendo. I don't ever run out of ammo. I'm gon' need me a benzo. No fake friends, no pretend. No. Think I might have found my tempo. Posted up in my tempo. Watch your man go dumb,